Everyone please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag
of
of
the
the
United
United
States
States of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic,
for which it stands,
For which
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
one nation
indivisible,
with
liberty,
liberty
and justice for all.
for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the April 5th, 2021 Planning Board hearing for the town of Brookhaven. I'd like to begin with a roll call. Mr. Zarcone,
Present.
Ms. Kelly, Mr. Walutis,
Present.
Present.
Ms. Dunn,
Present.
Mr. Smith,
Present.
Mr. Rose is excused with absence. We have with us this afternoon, counsel to the planning board, Ms. Lee Ray, Commissioner of the Planning Department, Ms. Beth Riley, and Secretary of the Planning Board, Ms. Paula Capitella. Paula, is there any items on the agenda, or Beth, Commissioner, what items on the agenda will not be heard this afternoon?
Yes, number 4 is being adjourned to April 19th. That's Eastport Meadows at Eastport. And number 6 is being withdrawn at the applicant's request. That's the public storage at Mount Sinai.
All right, thank you.
Chairman, can I make my announcement? Please,
Yes.
if you are in the queue, would you please, either in the chat function or in the Q&A, let me know what hearing number you're here for so I can let you in at the appropriate time.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to begin with item number 1 for relief of covenant. Hunter Estates at Miller Place, lot number 17. Is the applicant present?
The application is for 173 Nature's Lane in Miller Place. The request is the elimination of a 30-foot buffer. The submitted survey depicts the property clearing at 50%. However, staff indicates that that number may be incorrect and additional relief may need to be sought from this board. A fence and shed are encroaching in the buffer. The staff does recommend 4 items last dated 3/9/2021, which would be a denial of the elimination of the buffer, but allowance of a fence, a gate to remain, and revegetation of that 30-foot buffer. But we do need some clarification as to the overall clearing limits.
Counselor, is the applicant present?
At this moment, no one has responded. Is anyone in the queue for application number 1? We could come back to it. I don't have anyone here indicating that they're here for this application.
Okay. Item number 2, Old Orchard at Miller Place, lot number 14.
Property is located at 15 Old Orchard Way in Miller Place. The application is to request an increase in clearing from 38% to 68%. Survey submitted depicts clearing at 63.9%. Parcel is located within the CGA. The parcel is 37,000 square feet, surrounded by homes in the current subdivision, and is zoned A Residence 1. Division of Environmental Protection has no objection to an increase in clearing based on similar approvals for parcels within the Old Orchard subdivision. A clearing limit of 58% would be consistent with clearing with lots of this size within the Central Pine Barrens. Staff recommends denial of an increase in clearing limits from 38% to 68%, allowance of a clearing limit increase to 58%, revegetate areas cleared in excess of 58%, submit amended covenants and final survey prior to filing. I'm going to open that file up.
Counselor, is the applicant present?
At the moment, I don't have anyone here indicating that they're here for number 2.
The same expediter. I'm trying to get him on the phone.
I'll keep an eye out for him in the queue.
All right, let me know if 1 or 2 come back, then we'll come back to those applications. Item number 3, Mariana Cucci in Mount Sinai.
Sorry, I'm just trying to open it up for you. The application is located within the PDD Development District known as the Hamlet at Willow Creek, 136 Hamlet Drive in Mount Sinai. The application is to relieve a setback requirement that was established by the planning board at the time of the subdivision map. uh, the planning board at the time included accessory structure and rear yard setback requirements on the map. This application was given a certificate of occupancy in 2004, and the application is now, because they are putting in an in-ground pool, and a deck was discovered to be on the lot line. There is one staff recommendation, last dated 3/22/2021, to approve the relief of the file mat setback from 5 feet to 0 feet.
Thank you, Commissioner. Counselor? The
I
applicant?
don't have anyone here indicating they're here for number 3.
These people are aware that they're supposed to be in or present for these public meetings, aren't they?
Yes.
All right, we'll come back to that again.
Okay.
Item number 4 is being adjourned to April 19th. Item number 5, the Meadows at Yaphank.
The Meadows at Yaphank is located on the northwest corner of Long Island Expressway and William Floyd Parkway in Yaphank. The request is for a modification to buildings E, F, and G to accommodate a smaller building, G, for a Ridgewood Savings Bank with a drive-up ATM only, no drive-up window. Building E is also reduced in size and slight revisions to the prior approved elevations and building materials for Building F.
Thank you.
There are 2 staff recommendations, last dated 3/23/2021.
Thank you, Commissioner. Counselor?
Yes, I have 3 people on.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. This is Brian Ferrajari from Rose Breslin Associates.
Yes, Mr. Farrar, can you please raise your right hand?
Sure. I also have Dan Simone, our Vice President of Development and Construction, and Dale Koch from Bowler Engineers.
All
So
right.
since we're not attorneys, I believe we need to be sworn in.
Right, well, are you an attorney?
No, I'm not.
Okay, all 3 gentlemen, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You want to present the application and what elevation modifications are being proposed?
Yes. This application this afternoon seeks final approval for buildings E, F, and G within our retail center, all pursuant to condition 3C of the August 19th, 2019 Planning Board grant for the shops at the Boulevard. Final footprints and rendered elevations of each building have been submitted for consideration. The footprint for Building E has been reduced slightly from 9,082 square feet to 8,254 square feet. The rendered elevations depict an architectural style that is complementary with our overall development, with neutral earth tone colors and brick elements on all 4 sides. The facade is accented with black fabric awnings or black metal canopies at each entrance. The size and placement of all wall signs shall comply with the provisions of the Brookhaven Town Code, the J2 zoning district. The footprint for Building F is not changing and will remain at 9,247 square feet. We are requesting slight revisions to the elevations and building materials for Building F so that it will coordinate with the style of Building E, as both buildings front on the boulevard. Building G is being reduced in size from 5,000 square feet to 2,500 square feet for a Ridgewood Savings Bank. The bank will have a drive-up ATM, so minor parking lot changes are also requested to accommodate the required queuing lanes. The rendered elevations show a compatible style using earth tones as well as stone treatments on all 4 sides. Fabric awnings also accent the facade. Except for minor parking lot revisions for the drive-up ATM, this site plan does not alter the number of parking spaces, driveways, sidewalks, pedestrian crosswalks, landscaping, drainage, and lighting from the previously approved site plan. As far as community outreach, the Country Point Homeowners Association and the Colonial Woods Whispering Pine Condo Board presidents were all briefed on these modifications, and provided with copies of the rendered elevations. The application was well received by both community boards. That completes our presentation. We remain available for any questions you might have. Thank you.
Brought to the public. What was the reason for the reduction on the first building? Usually, you have current tenants listed for that? Is that the reason you're looking for reduction or?
That's the building E.
Okay. And why are you downsizing it from?
Want me to respond to that one, Brian?
Sure, go ahead, Dan.
Okay. The building was fit to fit within the setbacks, and we had provided a little more side yard space to allow for exterior patios that could be multi-use depending upon the tenants.
Okay, thank you. Council, is anyone in the public on this application present?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Seeing none, looks good. Can I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Proposed by Ms. Kelly,
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Mr. Walutis,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Item number 6.
Mr. Chairman, I did get the expediter for number 1 and 2 on the phone. He's asking that we could adjourn it to April 19th on both of them?
On 1 and 2,
Correct.
who's the expert? Is that Mr. Malganara?
Yes, and I told him about the survey issue, so we'll work that out between now and then.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to item number 1 first. Can I have a motion to adjourn this to date certain of April 19th?
Mr. Chairman, this is Board Member Steve Walutis. I make a motion to adjourn this application to a date certain of April 19th.
Okay, motion by Mr.
Yes.
Walutis,
Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Meeting under states will be heard on April 19th, 2021. Item number 2, can I have a motion for a date certain on that for April 19th?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. I make a motion to adjourn this application to a date certain of April 19th.
Motion by Mr. Walutis,
Chairman, this is Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. A lawsuit at Miller Place will be heard on April 19th. Anyone present on item number 3, Mariana Cucciet?
Yes, she's having some technical difficulties and we're in the chat function. So maybe we could move on and come back to it. I'm trying to see if I can get her into the meeting.
That's fine. Item number 6, public storage at Mount Sinai has been withdrawn. Item number 7, 1110 Halleck Avenue, SBA Realty, Port Jeff Station.
Located at the southeast corner of New York State Route 25A and Davis Street in Port Jefferson Station, is Zone J Business 2 and is 0.52 of an acre. The building received a CO in 1971 for an office use. A site plan for a 250 square foot addition and basement was approved November 26, 2013. The applicant has decided to eliminate the basement underneath the proposed addition. The parking extension of the parking lot was installed without inspections, and not all the work was completed along New York State Route 25A and the town right-of-way as required by the 2013 approval. The Division of Planning recommends all the original conditions remain in effect. There are 5 staff recommendations for approval, last dated 3/2/2021.
Thank you, Commissioner. Council, the applicant present?
No, Mr. Chairman, I don't have anyone here for number 7.
Item number
Agent
8,
is Nicosia.
was that?
Mr. Nicosia is the agent that I have.
Eric Nicosia, he's the architect.
I don't have that I only have one person unaccounted for in here, so no. I don't have them in my queue.
I'll come back to that after we finish. Item number 8, Virginia Avenue in Ronkonkoma.
Property
Mr.
is
Chairman,
located on
members of the
Virginia
board.
Avenue in Ronkonkoma. It's Zone B residence and is 1.03 acres. The application is to subdivide the parcel into 2 conforming building lots.
Council, I see Mr. Elsasser's on, what is the application is even for?
Yes, Mr. Alsasser is here for the subdivision.
Oh, okay.
There are 10 staff recommendations, last dated 2/23/2021.
All right.
Right, Ms.
Good
Yeah,
afternoon, Mr. Elsasser. Can you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, you want to present your application to the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we obviously got a copy of the staff recommendations. Nothing that we didn't expect on this, and we're in agreement with the staff recommendations that were provided by the board.
Okay, so you have all 10 recommendations, last dated February 23rd?
That would be correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Counselor, anyone in the public on this application present?
No, Mr. Chairman.
The board have any questions, for Mr. Elsasser?
No.
No.
Okay, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to close this public hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Smith,
This is Board Member Karen Dunn. I make a second this motion.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Darcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you, Mr. Elsasser. Item number 9, site plan, Expressway Plaza Shopping Center expansion.
Property is located on the southwest corner of Horse Block Road and North Ocean Avenue in Farmingville. It's currently zoned J Business 2, the overall property size being 38.42 acres, with the disturbed property before you is 10.62. Proposed site improvements are to rehabilitate the existing shopping center parking lot and replace and upgrade the 2 on-site sanitary systems. Rehabilitation activities include removal of existing pavement, and site lighting and sanitary structures, and replacement with new pavement, striping, landscaped islands, parking lot lighting, and sanitary structures. There are 9 staff recommendations, last dated 3/23/21.
Thank you, Commissioner. Council, applicant present?
Yes, I have several people in, and Anthony Guardino is the attorney representing them.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of
Good
the board.
afternoon, Counselor.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you. So I'm here today with Sharon Remmer from H2M, and I also have Brian Morell is also, I believe, on the phone from H2M, and Dan McInerney and John DeLutis from Midwood Management. They own the shopping center. This is the Expressway Plaza Shopping Center. I know you're all familiar with it. It's at the corner of North Ocean and Horse Block in Farmingville. It's about 38.5 acres. It is zone J2, and it's improved obviously with the.
Mr. Guarino, can you speak up a little bit? Can you, oh, it's hard to
Can you
hear
me?
you.
Is that any better?
That's a little better.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think it was the microphone. I'm sorry. So it's improved with the shopping center. There's an LA Fitness that we did. You may recall a few years ago, there's a Starbucks and I think a City MD in front. And there's also a TGI Fridays in the shopping center. The shopping center was until a couple of years ago anchored by Kmart, which obviously closed a couple of years ago. And the owner has since signed a lease with Burlington, which is really good news considering the retail environment we're in, that there was somebody that was interested in taking a large portion of that Kmart space. But as a condition of the lease, they have to make some improvements to the shopping center. There's some facade improvements and some site improvements that they have to complete as a condition of the lease. And I'm going to turn it over in a minute just to Sharon to go through to describe the improvements. But I did want the board to know that we met last year, I think it was in January, just before COVID, the pandemic with the Farmingville Residents Association, and we presented the facade improvements and the conceptual site plan to the Civic Association. It was, the improvements were welcomed by the association, and at that time they gave us a letter, actually I think it was an email in support, which we then turned over to the planning department. But since but more than a year has now passed, we actually reached out to the Farmingville Residents Association last month and provided them with an updated set of plans, which are really just more developed plans with regard to the landscaping that's being proposed in the parking lot. And I am happy to report that on March 29th, the president of the association gave us a letter that I think actually was addressed directly to planning, but I know planning has a copy of it. So they are still in full support of this application. We did review the proposed conditions with our client, and they are acceptable. So at this time, not to take more time, I think we should just ask Sharon to just go over briefly the site improvements.
Before we move on to your colleague, on item number 6, there was a question or a concern about the cross access. Is it the same owner?
It is not. They are two different owners. They are related entities, but they are in separate ownership. So we did send a letter. I mean, it seems a little silly, but we sent a letter to the other entity, which again is controlled by the same owner. But there is a lease that is in effect for the Chase. So we're going to be working with Chase to see if there's a way to create that cross access. We would like to do it at some point. We just don't think we can do it right now.
Anthony, could I add some clarification to that?
Sure, please.
Mr. McLean?
Yeah, this is Dan McInerney from Midwood.
Mr. McInerney, can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, Mr. McInerney.
So I actually, just a clarification, the owners of the shopping center are the same owners of the leasehold interest on the Chase. The ground is actually owned by a separate, it's a trust that's held by an unrelated party. So that's kind of the relationship. And I did speak to that party actually on Friday. I was able to get a hold of him after he received a letter from me requesting the cross access. He seemed very agreeable to it. So I just wanted to talk through with Anthony the requirements for any letter, what needs to be in it for him to sign, and he's happy to sign it. So we do expect to be able to deliver that soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
Now you want to go to the rest of what modifications being made, Mr. Guarino?
Yeah, I'm going to let Sharon Remmer address those proposed modifications and improvements.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Can you raise your right hand, please?
Certainly.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Good afternoon. We were before you with this project back in January of last year with the facade renovations, and I believe talked about the fact that we were coming forward with the modifications to the parking lot to be as much in keeping as we can with the parking standards in shopping centers. We've reduced 30,000 square feet of impervious area. It's replaced by landscaping. In concert with the code, we've provided as many rows of trees as we can between parallel rows of parking. We provided a new pedestrian access. We're changing the TGI Fridays southerly parking area a little bit so that we can get a pedestrian walkway from North Ocean Avenue into the site. And also have provided site lighting that's the same as what we have to the south in the LA Fitness Starbucks area. So we're trying to make the site look updated, but also more similar to the southerly, the new developments in the south, to make this more of a campus feel.
Thank you, Ms. Remmer. Council?
I have nothing further.
Councilor Ray, is there anyone in the public to speak on this application?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Any board members have questions for the applicant?
Just one question, Mr. Chairman. This is Richard Smith. Do we have a proposed elevation facade change for the new Burlington business?
Can I answer that? Those were approved, that were before you, some of my colleagues, architectural colleagues were before you in January of 2020, and those facade changes were approved.
Oh, so that was a previous, application.
Yes, and and building permits are pending.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone. I'm just curious, the repairs for the patchwork of the damaged curbs, sidewalks, and asphalt, that's for the entire whole site? In other words, all the way down from LA Fitness to ShopRite?
Well, I mean, yes, and we'll take what will happen is the construction folks will meet with one of your inspectors and walk around and determine what needs to be fixed beyond the new work that's being done. We did that for the entire site when the LA Fitness and the Starbucks were built also.
All right, and you put updated lighting in those areas at that point, correct?
We did brand new lighting back in 2015-16 for LA Fitness and Starbucks.
Right, so you're going to match that with the Burlington all the way down?
Yes, so all the site lighting will look similar for the whole 38 acres.
Okay, and a question with the Burlington. I know one of my board members asked a question, but the Burlington, is that taking the north side or the south side of that building?
The north side.
The north side. Okay, and if you just let me know one more thing in regards to the, you said a walkway going across, a pedestrian walkway going across North Ocean Avenue?
No, from North Ocean Avenue west to the inline stores. Thank you.
Okay, I got you.
Any other questions by the board?
Yeah, this is Steve Walutis. I have a question as to the landscaping. Can you describe what type of landscaping you're proposing?
The variety of trees complementary to what we've done to the south. All the trees are within the permitted list of the town, somewhat drought tolerant.
Did you say before that they are going next to the parallel parking or in place of parallel parking?
So they'll go, if we could please go back to the double aerial that we sent over a little while ago. Thank you. So in front of Kmart, we'll have 2 rows, if you could see them there. We were somewhat constrained by the confines of the area that we're working with. So this was a balance of providing less parking so we could provide more landscaping, but providing enough parking to satisfy the national tenants. So we'll have, in front of the old Kmart, we'll have 2 rows of landscaping in front of the old Kmart. We've embellished then that major entry that we just talked about that also has the pedestrian walkway. We've beefed up that parking there so it's got more of a boulevard feel to it. And then we've provided 5 rows of parking, the 4 of them between head-in parking, and then an end cap all the way up to the north. And then to the left, you can see the current condition of landscaping.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions by the board?
One of the staff recommendations was about phasing, that if you're
Yes.
going to be phasing the construction of that, the way you build it out, because we're assuming that you're not going to do the whole thing at one time. You won't have any parking for your site. So just so you're aware
Right.
that we are asking for that plan.
Yes, we provided a preliminary to Amy this morning. It was too late to get it in front of you, but we'll be carefully phasing that and restricting parking. One of your conditions also was to know where the staging was going to be.
Yes.
Will come in, trucks will be coming in the more southerly entrance there, just south of the leftover Kmart lot. There'll be staging in that area within only the paved area. That'll be fenced and there'll be fabric so that it's as visibly aesthetic as we can come up with during that time. There'll be no crusher trucks, no heavy equipment. That will all be at the contractors, back in the contractor's yard. And we'll be working one part at a time. And we'll work that through. So the final plan will be over with traffic safety in the next day or two. We'll work with them. We will at some point do some one-way drive aisles within the parking. And, we'll work through all the necessary safety measures.
Sharon, as part of the Burlington contract, they're waiting for all this work to be done before they move in?
Absolutely. We're on a tight schedule.
I was just wondering if that had something to do with the phasing. All right, may I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I make a motion to close this hearing and place the matter on the decision calendar.
Proposed by Mr. Zarcone,
Second.
I second
Mr.
that, Chair.
Walutis.
second by Mr. Walutis. Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Take care.
Going back, to items 1 and 2 are being held on April 19th. Did the applicant for Mariana Cucci come in, Counselor?
Mr. Chairman, they're not able to get into the meeting, so I've been in the chat function with them. They don't have much to add to this particular application. It's kind of straightforward unless the board has any questions for them.
I guess my first question is, do they have the return receipt registered letters available?
I'm just trying to get in to their. Was this a miscellaneous matter? No, they didn't. All right, they had to do their, the receipts for the mailing is what the board is asking about.
We could always add it as a condition.
Sorry, right?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. I'm wondering if I've driven a golf ball in their backyard at one time or another.
I wouldn't admit that.
I'm just wondering.
Not your responsibility, Rick.
Counselor, you communicating with the applicant?
Yes, they said, yes, they said that they have the return receipts. I'm sorry, this is like taking too long. They are listening and then typing the answers to me. So
Okay.
yes, they do have the hearing receipts for the notice.
Can you ask them if they received a copy of the staff recommendations?
Yes, the staff recommendations, we actually didn't have any. The recommendation was approval of the relief. So I did check that before, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right, so let me have a motion on item number 3, please.
Yeah, this is Steve Walutis. I make a motion to close this public hearing and place it on the decision calendar.
Motion to close by Mr. Walutis,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. 1110 Halleck,
Chairman, I have no one has shown on that application.
I don't know what the April 19th meeting is shaping up to be at this time, so I don't know. Is Paula available?
Hold on.
Why don't we just put it on for the next meeting, just to be
Put it on
safe?
for the 19th, I'm not sure how crowded it is, but okay. I have a motion for item number 7 for a date certain of April 19th.
The meeting after that?
Yeah, I have no idea what's on the 19th meeting so far. We've already put 3 or 4 from this agenda on it.
Do you want to go to the one after, Mr. Chairman?
It might be wise, because again, I don't know if how many are on or what applications.
Third, there's a May 3rd meeting?
Okay, so let me have a motion for the May 3rd, to hold this to a date certain of May 3rd.
that Mr. Walutis's application?
Yes, it is. Mr. Walutis,
Yeah, I make motion to adjourn this hearing to a date certain of May 3rd.
okay, motion by Mr. Walutis,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. I think we went through them. Okay, let's go back to item number 3.
Mr. Chairman, this is Steve Walutis. I make a motion to approve this application for a relief from the setback requirements set forth by the planning board subdivision map, subject to staff recommendations, only one dated 3/22/21, and an additional recommendation requirement that the applicant provide proof to the town planning department with return receipts for the advertising notices within 20 days.
Motion by Mr. Walutis,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Ms. Kelly,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
And they want you to know that there are a few dents in the back wall of their house.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
Oh,
Hear that, Rick?
item
I
number,
heard.
item number 4 is being held April 19th. Item number 5, the Meadows at Yaphank.
I guess, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve this application of modification to buildings E, F, and G, subject to the following conditions and staff recommendations, last dated 3/23/2021, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Ms. Kelly,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone. Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Item number 6 is being withdrawn. Item number 7 is being held on May 3rd. Item number 8,
Mr. Chairman, this is Richard Smith to make a motion for a negative declaration.
motion for,
Board Member Karen Dunn, I'll second that motion.
okay, motion for a neg deck by Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Ms. Kelly,
I vote aye.
Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
I make a motion to, further motion to approve the 2-lot land subdivision with staff recommendations numbered 1 through 10, last dated February 23rd, 2021, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Smith,
Second.
second by Ms. Dunn. Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Kelly,
I vote aye.
Walutis,
Aye.
the chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Item number 9, Expressway Plaza Center expansion, have secret determination.
Chairman, I make a motion for a negative declaration.
Motion for a neg deck by Mr. Zarcone,
I second that motion.
second by Ms. Kelly. Mr. Walutis,
Patricia Kelly.
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
And Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this application with all staff comments 1 through 9 dated 3/23/2021, as covenants and conditions of the approval.
Motion by Mr. Zarcone,
I second that motion. Patricia Kelly.
second by Ms. Kelly. I have a question on it, Commissioner or Counselor.
Yes.
As far as the letter for the cross-access agreement, is there a time frame on that, or how are we handling that as far as recommendation?
It's a perpetual offer if they don't get it. So they would have to get it on their side and they would get it from the other side in the future. That's how the staff recommendation is written and they agreed to it.
Okay, so I have a motion by Mr. Zarcone, second by Ms. Kelly. Mr. Walutis,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye. Motion carries 6-0. Item 10 is staying on the decision calendar. We can go ahead with U-Haul moving in storage at East Patchogue.
All's ready, Beth?
We can go.
Yeah, we have the BZA approval letter, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve this application, subject to staff recommendations,
You need a neg
numbers
deck, Ms.
1
Kelly?
through 11.
The motion of for neg deck first.
Oh, yes, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, I'd like to make a motion for a neg deck on this application.
Motion for neg deck by Ms. Kelly,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone, Mr. Walutis,
I vote aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion to approve this application, subject to staff recommendations, number 1 through 11, last revised 11/6/2020, and also approval of these following special use permits, number 85-461.C and 85-461.D as covenants and as covenants and restrictions of the approval. Sorry,
Motion,
Covenants and conditions.
Conditions, covenants and conditions.
covenants and conditions, I'm sorry.
motion by Ms. Kelly,
Mr. Chairman, Board Member Pete Zarcone, I'll second that motion.
second by Mr. Zarcone, Mr. Walutis,
Aye.
Ms. Dunn,
Aye.
Mr. Smith,
Aye.
chair votes aye, motion carries 6-0. Is there anything the board would like to discuss before we adjourn? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Ms. Dunn,
Second, Richard Smith.
second by Mr. Smith, Mr. Zarcone,
I vote aye.
Kelly,
I vote aye.
Walutis,
Aye.
chair votes aye, meeting adjourned.